We just got our blood work done.
Yeah, we did.
And our doctors asked us, what are we doing to have such great blood work?
Yeah. And you know what we told them?
ProCare!
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we told them like, yeah, we take ProCare every day because they have a multivitamin that you can just take one a day.
Yes, exactly. They have a capsule and a chewable form. And not only do they have vitamins, but they also have calcium chews.
Oh my God, they're so good.
They're so delicious. It's like our own little sweet treat for the end of the night.
It really is because they have the dark chocolate and they have the cinnamon roll.
Yes, and I love the salted caramel and the dinner mint.
Alrighty, we'll go to procarenow.com
and use code OSLP at checkout to save some money. You guys ask us all the time, what is our favorite protein powder?
Yeah, literally, we see this question every day.
And the answer is always
Devotion! Yeah. Oh my goodness. I even used it this morning to make my own sweet treat for nighttime because it's just a brownie batter pudding. And you literally just use 1 scoop and then milk or water.
And then I use it every morning in my coffee. It's so delicious. Oh my God. I want one right now thinking of it.
Seriously, it's 20 grams of protein. So go get yours now at devotionnutrition.com.
And use code OSLP to save some money.
Welcome back, OSLP family! Welcome.
You are listening to our Sleep Life podcast, and this is Kelly.
This is Mel.
And we just have to remind you that right now, nominations for the Just Be You Bariatric Award Show, they're live.
They're open.
That's what she said. You can go to our website, oursleeplifepodcast.com, and click on the award show button, scroll down. It's right there. We also have the categories on our Instagram page. So you can go in, you can make notes on who you want to nominate for each category.
It's in our little highlights.
It is in our highlights. Mm-hmm. So you can go and do that. We want to nominate any person that has made a difference in your life, no matter how big or how small their platform is. We want them to be nominated.
Yeah, I want your gut. I want to know what your gut says. So when you read that, what is the first person you think of?
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
So go over there, go nominate people. Yes. It's open till June 30th. So you have plenty of time.
And then tickets go on sale because, yes, this is an in-person award show.
Yeah.
You can come to Portland, Oregon, which is where we live, and you can come see us do a live show giving all these awards out. We are going to have really cool presenters. Mm-hmm. Very cool presenters. I'm so excited. Like, I just want to announce them all, but I can't. And so you will want to get your ticket on June 1st when they go live. It is going to be at the Epic Aladdin Theater. Mm-hmm. Mel is so excited for this because she's gone to Aladdin several times.
I have. That's where I've seen some comedy shows at. So it's so surreal that I get to be on stage where like these people that I really respect and look up to. Like now we get to do some stuff.
And we get our name on the marquee. They have a marquee, an old school marquee, and it's going to say OSLP presents the Just Be You Bariatric Awards.
And the fact that we finally get time to just celebrate the community, like legit, like it is voted by the people for the people. It's a People's Choice Awards for the bariatric community.
Yeah, you nominate, you vote, and ultimately you decide who wins.
Yeah, these results are yours. So this is going to be so much fun.
And you get to dress up. I mean, a lot of us haven't dressed up like in prom type dresses since prom.
I know.
And half of the time when you look back at that, you're probably thinking, I didn't get to wear what I wanted because it wasn't the size that I wanted to be.
Exactly. Or
so
you weren't
now
confident.
You get the chance.
Yeah. And if you want to wear freaking, fishnets, wear fishnets. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like wear what you want to wear. Like makes you feel comfortable.
Yep. And strut down the pink carpet because yes, we wouldn't have just a red carpet.
No.
We're going to have a pink carpet.
That's right.
And you get your picture taken and there's going to be times to meet other bariatric. It's just going to be an awesome event. And I'm so excited for it. So keep your eyes peeled. If you have not signed up for the emails, you need to go also below the nomination section. There's a section to put your email in and then you will get first grab at all of those tickets.
Yep.
So make sure that you are signed up for that. And
basically, because one of the presenters might be on right now, we don't know. But if you know what I'm talking about, you have to go to YouTube to see what I'm talking about because you get to see her the whole time while we're talking. And so go over to YouTube. It's on your freaking phone. Hit the button. It's Our Slave Life Podcast. We're the only ones.
Yep.
So just click on it, hit the subscribe button and the bell, and then you get notified every Tuesday for new videos that go out. Now, if you're a patron of ours, you get those 10 days early.
Yes.
So if you want to be a patron, where do they go, Cal?
Patreon.com/OSLP. And not only do you get early access to videos, episodes, bonus content from us, you also get access if you are in the $7 higher tier to the world's best support group.
Yes.
We love our support group. We love our benchies so freaking much.
That's right.
We are always watching them post about cool things that are happening and talking about their life, whether it be good or bad, or they have random questions. I mean, whatever they want to talk about.
We share everything normally with them first. So like when they know about what's going on with us daily.
They really do. So
that's great.
Go over there. If you are wanting to find a support group, it is on Facebook. And if you want a support group that you can just go in, be yourself, and just meet a bunch of really awesome freaking people.
Yeah.
Go sign up on Patreon. We will message you with the link to join.
Yep.
It is awesome. It's awesome.
It's awesome.
Okay.
All right.
So let's get into who we have on with us today for another episode. We haven't recorded with her in a very, very long time. So I'm so excited. So thanks for joining us, Michaela.
Hi. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here too. I know I feel like maybe we've done a live recently, but like we haven't done like a podcast in a long time. So it's like, man, I was thinking about that.
But I have to tell you, that live that we talked to you made such a difference in my brain. And that's why I'm so excited to record this episode, because the moment that you said self-care is more than just getting facials and getting your toes done, think of it like putting the nutrient foods in your body. Think about working out, going on, like getting your activity. And I was like, oh, duh, Kelly, like that is self-care. And it made such a difference in my brain. So thank you so much, because it was like the next week I was signed up for the gym. I've gone pretty much regular other than being gone or sick, which, happens a lot. But yeah, it made a world of a difference in my brain. So
yay! Yeah. I'm glad. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. It was, and then I inspired Mel to go.
We both did. That was kind of the deal. Was I took your tip of like just getting up a little bit earlier every day, because Kelly's been wanting me to go with her, but I was like, I'm just trying to get up early, so I'm going to take what Michaela said to heart, and we're just going to do 15 minutes until I can get up to 6 a.m. Once I got to 6 a.m., I started going because I was like, I want to go. I'm seeing Kelly go. It looks like fun. I remember how much fun I had, but I'm also in this like all or nothing situation. I didn't want to be in that situation anymore because of what you talked to us about. So thank you both. So really, like, guys, people inspire us all the time. So definitely like keep messaging us and keep hanging out with us because it's super helpful.
It is. It really is. I mean, I've been in a funk for feels like forever. And it was just, it was a needed change in my life. And it really like my mood went from like, I could kill somebody at a moment's notice to like happy go lucky Kelly again.
Yep.
Like I needed that endorphin rush.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that crazy what movement does? Like, and that, like, that's what I just spoke at the bariatric retreat, like movement for me. And I know that's not what we're going to talk about tonight, but I just want to reiterate, like, literally everything starts from movement with me. If I stop moving, the second I stop moving my body regularly is when everything else starts to fall apart because I don't have the energy for it anymore. My depression starts to get worse. My anxiety starts to get worse. My body starts to ache more. Like we have to, even if it's something as simple as a walk every day. And right now, that's really what I've been doing more. It's just keeping up a daily walk. I have more energy to focus on nutrition. I have more energy. Like my mood is better. I'm more myself. I'm more like happy, you know? And so it all starts with movement. You have to, if you are feeling stuck on your journey right now and you're trying to think of like all these different things you need to do, just start with movement. Literally just start there. And as simple as 15 minutes a day.
Yep.
Start showing up for yourself, showing yourself that you can keep that little promise. And then you will start to feel better and move through that stuckness.
That's stuckness. I like that. That's what I felt before I went back. I felt stuckness. And I was like, nope, this is not where my journey ends. I know it's not where my journey ends. So what do I need to do? And then it just snapped into my head. I was like, what did Michaela say? Get up and get your ass to the gym. And I was actually driving, I was driving down our main road in my town. And I was like, I have 30 minutes until I have to be to Mel's house. I should go sign up for the gym right now.
Yeah, it won't take long.
Oh.
And I just randomly pulled in and I was like, I was just looking at all the, the levels or whatever. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't right now. And then I was like, no, I'm already here. Just sign up. And so I signed up right away. And the next day I was in the gym. I was like, nope,
nice.
No more. So yeah.
Well, and I feel like I was stuckness in the excuses. I was just stuck in them and you helped me get unstuck. So for people that don't know who you are, can you kind of explain who you are, how you are fit in this community and what you do?
Yeah. So my name is Michaela Miller, Instagram, Losing to Blooming. I am, first and foremost, I'm 6 years post-op BSG. My 6-year anniversary is coming up May 23rd.
Nice.
So I had BSG, lost 150 pounds. I have now maintained that 150-pound loss over these 6 years. Obviously developed a love of fitness. I've worked really hard on my mindset. I've worked really hard on my relationship with food, which we're going to talk about today.
Yes, we are.
And now I coach. Now I am a coach and I work with women and I help them also get unstuck. I help them with their relationship with food. And I'm kind of going to share some of that today as well, like some of the tools that I use with my clients when we're working through like a mindset around food, healing our relationship with food, working through the disordered eating patterns. So that really is like my coaching. I'm a certified personal trainer. I'm a certified nutrition coach. I'm a behavior change specialist. Right now I'm working on a embodiment certification. So working more on like somatic healing modalities and being more trauma aware. And then I'm also a weight loss specialist. So, but I really focus more on like movement's very important, but the majority of what I work on with my clients is mindset, healing, self-soothing techniques, and food. Like that is what, and like our mindset around food, our relationship with food, that has to be a focus on our journey to be successful.
Yeah, 100%. Can you explain what disordered eating is or what it means to you? And then, because I don't think I have a clear view of what it is.
No, and you can even go into detail how this even came about too.
Okay. So disordered eating, and I will kind of speak just from my own experience because keep in mind, like I'm not a registered dietitian. I'm not a licensed therapist, so everything I share here tonight is all coming from my own journey of disordered eating in my past and healing my relationship with food, overcoming binge eating. Like I don't binge eat anymore. I trust myself around food completely. I no longer have food fears. So what that has looked like for me, but then also, like I said, how I also use that to help my clients on their journey as well. So that's kind of the lens I'm coming from. A lot of my clients, they don't just work with me. They also work with a therapist that specializes in either like bariatrics, binge eating, or something along those lines.
Okay.
So to me, disordered eating is when we don't have a good relationship with food, and it can look like several different ways, right? So it might be that you are afraid to eat. Think of anorexic, bulimic, like you are And that is a real fear in the bariatric community. I have worked with clients that are either on the verge or full-blown anorexic after bariatric surgery that I've had to refer elsewhere, because that's not, I'm obviously not qualified to help with that level of disordered eating.
Okay.
But, it can, after our bariatric journey, especially with the myth of sleeve stretching and things like that, I mean, there is real fear out there of eating, of actually and so it can become full-blown anorexia at that point. But then also there's the other end of the spectrum, right? Where we are binge eating, where we're struggling with food addiction, where we're using food to numb or soothe. We're abusing food. We're not just using food to eat and enjoy it and live our life and fuel our bodies. We're abusing it in a way to numb out our feelings or to hurt ourselves. Sometimes we do it in a way to intentionally hurt ourselves. So that's kind of how I view disordered eating, is when we are using food or eating in a way that is harming to ourselves in some capacity.
Okay. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And then we discussed this topic because of a story that you had posted on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah, it really resonated with us.
It really resonated. And you had mentioned disordered eating, and I was like, wow, that's a topic that we really haven't covered before.
Yeah, we haven't really touched on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So how did that story come about, and what made you bring that into the light for the community?
Yeah. Oh, almost everyone in this community, we're here because we struggle with disordered eating, because in some way, some form, we have a terrible relationship with food. We abuse food some way, and we don't know how to eat properly, really. Right. That's kind of what it comes down to. And we don't know how to trust ourselves around food. And a lot of this is perpetuated from diet culture. So a lot of our disordered eating, we weren't born, we didn't come into this world not knowing how to eat with messed up hunger and fullness cues. We didn't come into this world so askew, that was something that was taught to us. So, and most of us here were brought up through the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, when diet culture was hopping.
Full force.
Was in full force. Jenny Craig, South Beach diet, Slim Fast, all the things. And so, here we are now in our 30s, 40s, 50s. And all we know about nutrition is what we have learned from different diets. Yes. We don't actually have a clear concept of what nutrition actually is, what proper nutrition is, what balanced nutrition is. And what's even worse is in the bariatric community, I'm not saying all bariatric centers, and I'm not saying all surgeons and all dietitians are like this. I actually know there's a lot of really good dietitians on Instagram that promote really good, healthy, balanced ideals around nutrition. But, I work with a lot of clients that come from clinics where diet culture is continuously perpetuated. It's continuous, you can never eat carbs again the rest of your life. You need to eat 1,000 calories for the rest of your life. If you're not as successful as they think you should be, well, maybe you should try this diet pill. And there's really there's so much help and guidance up front for those first few months, a really structured diet of what you should be eating for those first couple months. But then there's nothing after that. There's no guidance. There's no support. So what I find with a lot of my clients, a lot of people in the community, is they're just kind of eating the same things that was in that pamphlet that they were. A lot of people are afraid to venture away from the protein shakes. They're afraid to venture away from yogurt and cottage cheese. And then they're coming to me and they're like, but I'm hungry all the time. I'm grazing all the time. I'm binging. And it's well, it's because you're not eating. And it's because they're doing what they think they're supposed to do by listening and following these very rigid guidelines that were set up in the very beginning. We have no concept of how to evolve that. We have no concept of, like I said, what real nutrition is supposed to look like, especially after bariatric surgery. Anyways, getting back to the point.
No, you're fine.
Right. So this came about, the reason I posted that story like a month ago is because, you know, we're coming up on summer.
Yeah.
And this is when everyone is like, I got to get summer ready. And this is when diet culture gets really strong. And they're pushing cleanses and they're pushing detox and they're pushing and diet after diet after diet. And all that is furthering our disordered eating patterns.
Yes.
A lot of these, like one of the cleanses that was being promoted in the community, from what I could see from it, you know, it was like you would drink a shake two meals out of the day. So basically promoting kind of like a liquid diet, which also kind of sounds like the liquid pouch reset that we all know we're supposed to stay away from.
Yeah.
And I had qualms. There were major qualms had. And I voiced those qualms because there are so many of us in this community that are trying to repair our relationship with food and are trying to overcome disordered eating patterns and learn a better way and get away from diet culture. But then when we have influencers in this space that are promoting something like this, and they're promoting it as a lifestyle change, they're promoting it as health, as, you know, like it's wrong because it's not, it's a diet. It's just another diet. That's all it is. And what's going to happen is you're going to go on that. You're going to heavily restrict yourself for a month. And then you're going to come off of it and you're going to binge like crazy.
That sounds like every diet I've ever been on.
Yeah. Because like you're not changing any of the behaviors. Like none of that's changing. You're literally just like restricting, starving, and causing your own insides and mentally like struggling. And then you're like, yay, I get to go have all my food again. And then you do, and you binge really hard. And then you are doing it every night for a while.
And I remember talking to a girl in my hairdressers, and she's doing the 75 hard. And she likes it because it puts her on a schedule. And like she knows what she's supposed to do every single day.
I have something that I feel like I've said this to a few people and it like blew their minds. Maybe it'll blow your mind. Maybe it won't. Weight loss surgery isn't the easy way out. Diets are the easy way out.
Yeah.
Because diets, the reason why we gravitate towards them and like 75 hard.
Because they're easy.
They're so rigid.
They
are so rigid. They tell you what to do, when to do it. They tell you exactly what you can eat, what you can't eat. You don't have to think. You don't have to. As long as you follow these rules, then you're doing great. You're perfect. But the second you go off, you failed. So this is where we've gotten our all or nothing thinking from. This is where we've got our perfectionist mindset from. This is where we've gotten our horrible ideal. Diet culture has screwed up our hunger and fullness cues. I mean, all of it. Like the whole, oh, you're not hungry, you just need to drink water. What if you're actually hungry?
Yeah. You eventually have to eat.
Yeah. And so you keep doing that though. You keep thinking like, oh, well, I just need to drink more water. And then again, 5 days later, you're binging like crazy because you haven't been listening to your body. Your body's been telling you, I need more food. You've been ignoring it. And now it's going to get the food. Yeah. It's getting the food it needs.
I mean, how did you get cameras in my house and find out that's what I do? That's what I want
to know. You're like, you just need water, Kelly.
I mean, that's legit what I do.
Friday,
like, I'll be like, I'm hungry. And then I'm like, no, just drink some water. So I drink some water. And then before I know it, like today, I hadn't eaten anything all day. And so before I went and got Mel, I was shaky. So I ate food and then magically I feel better.
Yeah.
And it's not magically. The food made you
I
feel
know.
better because
It's
the
just
nutrition
like-
in the food. Because that's the
Like
deal.
I want my brain to figure it out.
We also need to like respect the food and like honor the food. Like it's doing us like justice, like for us to be able to walk around and do the shit that we need to do to have our mind on. Like we have to have the food. So we can't be scared of the food.
Yeah.
So we have to be very mindful. Like food is our friend, not our enemy.
I know. And that's where it's hard. My brain immediately goes that food is the enemy.
Right.
That's exactly where my brain goes.
Yeah.
And that's another, so by blaming food, like you're just, that's what we do. We blame the food. Like we hear it all the time. Yeah, you're exactly. I can't have that food in my house. It's a trigger food. The food isn't the problem.
Right.
Food is not the problem. And I'm willing to bet, even if you don't keep that food in the house, you're still binging on something else in the house. If you're continuing to have that mindset that food triggers you in some way, then it doesn't matter. Even if you don't have this trigger food in the house, it's just going to be replaced by another trigger food in the house. Like you will still allow other foods to cause you to binge or whatever it is. So we have to fix the underlying reason, the underlying cause. And so that's, that's kind of what we're here to talk about today. So like, I know for my own journey, like I just kind of wanted to walk you guys through like kind of my own healing journey with food. So the way I grew up, I was shamed around food. I was pushed diet after diet after diet from like second grade. So all I really knew my entire life was you're either on a diet and you're restricting some sort of food, some sort of way, or you're off the diet and you're binging because you just came off the diet or you're getting ready for the next diet. That's all I know is binge and restrict, binge and restrict. I never knew like balance and moderation. What is that? Eating about like having food freedom. That just means I'm binging all the time, right? That's what people think about food freedom. They're like, I can't just eat whatever I want all the time or I'll be 300 pounds again.
Right.
Not what true food freedom actually is at all. The reason you think that way is because you're still stuck in binge and restrict mindset. And takes a long time and a lot of practice to get out of that. It's not something where you can just wake up tomorrow and be like, okay, I'm going to practice food freedom today. Yeah, you're just going to find yourself binging over and over and over again. Like,
what does food freedom mean? I've never heard that term.
Food freedom to me means basically how I live my life now. I am not triggered by any food. I eat what I want to eat when I want to eat it. I eat what I'm craving. I listen to my hunger cues. So if I feel hungry, I eat. I don't drink water. I don't chew gum. I eat if I feel hungry. If I am craving pizza, now I will say this with a caveat because, it's not just as soon as we hit that craving that I'm like, okay, I'm going to go get pizza or whatever. I check in with it. Like, where does this craving come from? Like, why do I want this? Or, again, same with like that hunger. If I'm feeling hungry, I do check in with it though. Like, am I really hungry? Yeah, I am really hungry. Okay, I'm going to go eat something. Or maybe I'll go like make a little plate of something. And if I start eating it, I go slow and it's like, okay, I didn't eat very much. Maybe I wasn't actually hungry. Like maybe I was just kind of bored,
Right.
It's a process. This is a process. We could probably do like 3 or 4 podcasts on this, but basically food freedom, that's what it is. Like I don't track my food. I listen to my body. I have no guilt or shame around any foods that I eat. I ate cake yesterday as one of my treats that I had, and it didn't trigger me. It didn't lead to a binge. I didn't go off the rails. I didn't feel guilt or shame around it. That's food freedom.
I like it.
I feel like if you go about this process the right way, if you use your bariatric tool the right way, this can be the answer to curing your obesity, but also healing your relationship with food. And finally, for the first time in your life, learning what balance and moderation truly is.
Yeah.
So
I
for
agree.
me, it was when I decided to have bariatric surgery. Again, I have come from diet after diet after diet. I'd even lost a significant amount of weight in my early 20s doing a very extreme diet, and then gained it all back super fast because that was not realistic. And I just wanted all the food back again. I also grew up, like I was saying, with a lot of shame around food. Like whenever I would go on a diet, and if I would try to eat something that maybe wasn't necessarily on the diet, my parents would say something. Usually my dad would say something. And the second he would say something, I would stop. I would quit the diet. I would rebel. Eating was a form of rebellion for me, and I had to realize that. So that's another whole aspect of mindset around food and disordered eating is you have to understand why you do the things that you do.
Yeah.
You have to break down, why am I using food? Like, why am I binging? What is going on here? So I had to start to realize, like, okay, whenever my dad says something about what I eat, I go the other direction. I sabotage and I rebel and I just eat and eat and eat as much as I want. And I would also closet eat. That was another one. I didn't want my dad to see the foods that I really wanted that I, would go get at the convenience store or whatever. So I would literally, when I say closet ate, you guys, I mean, I literally had a stash of food in my closet at home and would go into my closet and really quietly open the wrappers so that I could eat the foods that I wanted to eat. So when I decided to have bariatric surgery, I chose, first of all, I was done with diets completely. I was like, I can't do another diet. That's not the answer.
No.
That has screwed me up more than anything else. Like, I need a more permanent solution. I need a more long-term solution. I learned about bariatric surgery and I was like, this is the answer. Like, this is it. This is going to help me practice better moderation.
Yeah.
And that way I can start working on what balance is actually supposed to be, like what balance actually looks like and feels like. So I went into this and my own surgeon was telling me, you don't need to eat any sweets ever again. Like, sweets don't do anything for you. Stay away from the sweets. No. You want to know why? Because every diet I've ever done that told me to stay away from sugar, stay away from chocolate, you can't eat any of that, that didn't work for me.
No.
Clearly, that didn't work for me.
Yeah.
So literally from the moment I had bariatric, maybe not the first week, okay, but like,
yeah,
I adopted this mindset of I'm going to work with my sweet tooth instead of against it. Like, what would happen if I let myself have a treat every day to keep my sweet tooth at bay? Like, what would happen if I work with it like it's my friend instead of continuously try to fight it and just end up binging and binging and binging over and over and over again? So that's the mindset I went into on this journey. And I also had to heal a lot of that other BS because I also still lived with my parents at the time when I had bariatric surgery. So I also had to realize, like, okay, when someone says something about what I'm eating, that's on them. That's not, I don't have to give those words power. By me sabotaging my efforts, I am giving them control over my journey, not the other way around, because that's what I thought was happening. I thought I was taking back control. I had to realize I was giving control away. And then I also had to work on the closet eating. There is no more closet eating. I will no longer have shame around certain foods that I am going to allow into my diet in a thoughtful and purposeful and intentful way. And so I started practicing eating those foods like in front of my family. And if they said something, I had to learn how to let that go, not let that affect me. So I say all that because a lot of that was contributed into my disordered eating patterns. A lot of that is partly why I had such a messed up relationship with food. And I had to work through all of that underlying stuff to start healing.
That's so hard.
There's so much there I want to unpack.
There's a lot here. There's a lot here.
Where do we start?
I know.
Because it sounds like, looking back at it, it sounds like it's like so much work.
Right. Yeah. This is why people tend to go towards diets, because it sounds like it's a lot of work.
And it's mental work, which is even harder.
Yeah. But it's really not. It's just you have to switch your focus. Like you actually just have to start thinking about things. And there's nothing wrong with thinking about things.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us think, and I know I've been a culprit of it, of being like, I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to think about that. I just need to get this food and put it in my mouth and go and not think twice. And that's not how this should work. It's like, no, you do have the time. You really do. Like, stop acting like you don't. Like, just go through your day, figure out like, what do you actually want to eat? Because I learned that from you too. Like, eat what you crave. Like, it's those things.
That's the other kind of motto I've adopted throughout my journey is I don't just work with my sweet tooth instead of against it. I work with my cravings instead of against it. Like I now formulate my meal plans around what actually sounds good. I worked on realizing diet culture has also made it to where we feel guilty if we eat something we enjoy.
Yeah.
If there is a food, even if it's something like a salad, if it's a salad that you're eating and you're like, oh my God, this is so good. This must be bad for me. This has to be bad for me. There's no way I can be enjoying this salad so much. It has to be like something I shouldn't be eating. How fucked up is that? I'm sorry, but seriously, like, diet culture has fucked us so hard and we've just taken it again, like you said, Mel, because it's easy. It is easy. Yeah. It's so much easier to just go to another diet instead of doing this hard work. Yep. And the process that you have to go through. So again, and I've said this, I myself have worked with coaches. I've worked with therapists. Like, I've had a lot of help to help me unpack this and help me work through my relationship with food, my food fears, because we also have a lot of food fears. And it's taken a lot of practice over the years. So like for me, again, it was intentionally working in some of these foods that I felt growing up like I was told were bad. But I also have a pretty good, even before I became a certified nutritionist, I have a pretty good idea of proper nutrition. Like, I actually did. I had a really good idea of high protein foods. Like, I had a pretty good idea of like what are, more complex high fiber carbs versus the simple carbs, the things that you should be working on more. So I also had a lot of this kind of base knowledge to go off of as well when I was starting my journey. And I feel like that was also really helpful. Not a lot of people have that. Not a lot of people understand that, So learning to read nutrition labels is huge on your journey through disordered eating recovery, on healing your relationship with food, because there's a lot of foods out there, like on my journey, that I started to realize, like, okay, why is this Noosa yogurt promoted as so healthy, whereas the ice cream that I actually really want to have is deemed as this unhealthy item I shouldn't be eating? The Noosa yogurt has more sugar and more fat than the ice cream I want to have. Like,
because it's yogurt.
Culture, yes. So it's classified as a health food. And so what happens? This is what happens, okay? And tell me if this resonates with you. You're really craving something. instead of eating what you're really craving, so we're going to use the ice cream and yogurt analogy here. Instead of eating the ice cream that you're really craving, you eat the yogurt. You didn't want the yogurt. That didn't actually satisfy anything. So now you go back to the pantry. Okay, what else is there? Okay, I'm going to eat some peanut butter pretzels. Okay, I'm going to have a few peanut butter pretzels. You go sit down for a little bit. That wasn't okay. Now I'm going to go, you know what? I'm trying to be healthy. I'm going to have an apple. Okay, I'm going to go have this apple. So now you eat the apple and it just keeps going. You keep eating because you're searching for what is going to satisfy this craving. If you would have just had the ice cream, let's say this serving of ice cream was 250 calories. Maybe it had, 15 grams of sugar. Okay. Now you've probably had 800 calories worth of stuff. Right. Who knows how much sugar, who knows how much fat, and you don't even realize you're like, oh, but they were all like healthier options though. They were all like, I only had a few of that and a few of that. But if you would have just had the ice cream you were craving, you would have satisfied that craving. You would have been done. And you would have only had the 250 calories. Yep. And so just a little analogy, because I feel like we all do that. We don't. That's what happens when we don't honor our cravings, but we think that we're still being healthy. We're like choosing these healthier options, but we actually just hurt ourselves more. And then we still want the ice cream. Yes. So now this is probably going to continue the rest of the week.
Yep. Until you get it. Yeah. Yes. Until you finally just do it.
Yeah. And then when you finally get the ice cream though, you're still looking at this. So then this is probably maybe what else happens. You finally get the ice cream, but you're still looking at this as something to be shameful for, something to feel guilty for. So then you don't just eat the one serving, you binge on the ice cream because you're looking at it as, I shouldn't be eating this. What's wrong with me? Why wasn't I just satisfied with that apple yesterday? Why am I failing this? I'll just eat all of this and then I'll get rid of the ice cream again. I'll never have the ice cream in the house again. And that's what happens.
And that's
disordered eating.
I was going to say, that's disordered eating. Right there. And that is exactly how my mind works.
Yes, it does.
Because the funny thing is I don't have cravings. It's not like I go and say, I really want ice cream. It isn't until I see the ice cream that I want the ice cream.
Right.
So I will literally open up the freezer and be like, oh, there's ice cream, and shut it. And then I do the whole cycle. And it's just because I simply saw the ice cream, saw the cake, saw the cookie, whatever it is, that's what triggers it. And it's really weird, but I do that entirely what you just said. I shouldn't be having it. There's other options. Okay, I'm going to have some cheese. Okay, I'll have some nuts. Okay, I'm going to do this and this and this and this. And then when I finally break down, because it's when nobody's there,
right,
that I break down.
Yeah. Just do it.
Then I go above and beyond and I eat it as quickly as possible to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And then I make myself sick, and I'm not doing any justification to my craving of having the ice cream, of just, if I would have just simply said, okay, I'm going to have a half a cup of ice cream or even one scoop of ice cream.
And do you even actually enjoy it when you're having it? Because you are in such a shame and guilt mindset around it.
Yep.
And you're eating it so fast as no one sees it. You don't get to enjoy it.
Well, you don't get to. And then I'm like, I shouldn't even want this. Why do I want this right now? I don't understand. Why can't I be like those people that don't have sugar cravings? That's been my whole mindset since I started to regain.
Yeah.
That has been identically what happens.
So part of it with that is you're probably blaming part of your regain on food, and it's not the food's fault. So you're looking at food as the bad guy, which is perpetuating your food fears even more, making you even more fearful around these food items, so that when you are around them, you can't control yourself because you feel like you don't get to have this again.
Right.
this is allowed.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, because
Square hit.
Because you have FOMO with food.
I do have FOMO.
Yeah, with food. Because like that, I would say that that's the one thing I've noticed, because like I've tried to like relate with it, but it just, I can't, because I'm just like, it doesn't make sense to me, because me and you have been out for mine's 7-year mark is at the end of this week, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I just realized it as I was saying. I'm like, oh shit, it's the end of this week.
Mm-hmm.
And that was been the biggest thing, is like, I've never told myself I can't ever have it again.
Mm-hmm.
I just said like, it's a see you later. Like that first year was all about just, I'll see you later.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to focus on getting healthy, because that's why I did the surgery. So like, I noticed it's FOMO for you for the eating.
Well, and I think it's also, it's hard to describe because it was never like, I always said like, okay, there are certain foods that I'm never going to have again. And I was okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, it's okay. Like, as we started the podcast and we started to talk to more people, it was like, no, it's okay to have these foods every once in a while. It's just not every day.
Right.
And then it's just like presently there every day. Like I'm eating more and I'm hating it even more.
Even that right there. No, it is okay to have this, just not every day.
Mm-hmm.
That is still feeding into that restrictive mindset.
Mm-hmm.
What is wrong with having ice cream every day?
It'll make me fat.
But it won't.
Will it? Is that what
Yeah.
makes you fat? Ice cream is what makes you fat?
Oh,
Right.
Oh.
It's not the food.
It's not the food.
It's not the
So
food.
one of the ways that I've broken my own food fears, and this is what I work with a lot of clients on, is using meal planning. Meal planning is a really great tool on working on this, actually, because you start practicing. Like, you're not, like I said earlier, okay, you're not going to be able to go from where we are, where like you are right now, Kelly, you're not going to be able to go from there to food freedom tomorrow. Okay. Mm-hmm. We have to baby step you there. And we do that. One of the tools we use is planning. So intentionally planning ice cream in for you every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's your treat, is ice cream every day. And we show you and your subconscious mind, but your subconscious mind is part of what is ruling that like food fear and this mistrust around, because this is all it's ever known your whole life. That's a program running, is like, you can't have ice cream on a Tuesday. Ice cream is a treat or a cheat meal item only.
Right.
And you can't have that all the time. And if you do try to have that around, you're just going to go crazy on it. Mm-hmm. So again, the reason we go crazy on these foods, though, is because we restrict them so heavily. So we start practicing in a very intentional and planned way of having ice cream on a daily basis. Like, that is your evening treat that you get to have. You get to have a scoop of ice cream, and you show yourself, holy shit. Like, even if you're trying to lose some weight right now, you show yourself, holy shit, I can lose weight and eat ice cream every day. I can maintain my weight and eat ice cream every day.
Yeah.
What the
Well, that's what I envision, because I've heard you talk about it. We talk about the fact that you have told us that, like, you have a treat every single day. You plan it into your day. I just can't wrap my mind around having that every day, no matter what that treat is. Like, even if I have a cookie every single day, that's not causing the weight that I'm gaining.
No, it's the not moving. It's the other foods that you're eating. It's not the item.
Well, and I think it's more attached to the fact that I do what you said in the beginning. I restrict all day and I just drink my water, or I just drink my tea. And then lunch hits and I'm starving. So then I overeat for lunch.
Yes.
And then dinner happens. And because I ate so late lunch, I am forcing myself to eat dinner because I know I need to eat. And then I'm overeating, and I'm feeling worse because I'm like, well, I did this and I did this. Like I'm those thoughts, I know that I'm not a failure.
No.
But in my brain, I am a failure. Like, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It does.
Like,
because
I know I'm not.
Because as you guys are talking about, it's like the last week has been hell week,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been wanting a Hershey bar with almonds, and I've been having it and letting myself have it and not care. But even thinking about it, like as you're talking about like going through the day, I'm like, it fucking fit in no matter what, because I'm not eating enough for it to fucking be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been stressing about the fact I've been allowing it and thinking it's a problem because I'm so used to that mindset, when it's like, girl, like the one chocolate bar is not tipping anything.
Mm-mm.
It really hasn't. Like, I've been having my egg bites. I've been having my protein. I just been wanting a sweet treat at night when like Eric's asleep and finally asleep, where he can handle, all the pain.
Well, you can breathe.
And I can breathe. Like literally, like I've noticed it's where like the doctors are not coming in anymore. He's asleep. I'm by myself, watching a show, and I can be like, I can breathe. And then I have the sweet treat, and then I feel good. And then I'm like, okay, we're good for the rest of the night. Get my ice water.
But do you feel guilty when you're eating it?
So I'm not while eating it. It's like it's after.
Okay.
And it's not like right after either. It's like an hour later when I go to bed, and I'll be like, I shouldn't have had it that late. Why did I do that? Like it's
there's another food rule.
Yeah.
They have to eat food at certain, like you can't eat past a certain point at night.
Yep.
Why? Do you think your body just like magically like does something with calories during certain times of the day? Like, no,
we did. We totally did.
I still do.
Yeah.
I still do. I beat myself up nightly because I get up and eat 2 protein balls.
Yeah.
Okay. What if you started letting yourself have, actually, it's healthy to have a high protein something before you go to bed, especially if you're active, especially if you've been working out more. That helps your recovery overnight. So, and it'll help it. So I want you to start thinking of it as a domino effect. Okay. Because this is leading us into a really good point. So many times I hear people in the community telling me like, why do I keep binging? Why do I keep grazing at night? Why am I eating at night? Why can't I control myself at night? Well, then I start looking at their food, and there's a couple things I find that are happening. Either they are not eating through the day.
Yeah.
Especially like breakfast, or they're skipping breakfast or something like that. Or they're not eating satisfying enough meals. Their meals are fucking boring and lame, and they don't have any carbs in them anywhere. Any carbs. So then at night, their body is like, hello, like I need more. So it will get more. It will get more from the grazing, the binging, whatever. So what we do is we make sure that we're having meals all throughout the day, probably about every 2 or 3 hours. Need to be eating every 2 or 3 hours. And we make sure each meal, even snacks, okay, I tell my clients, snacks, that's not like, when I say snacks, you're probably thinking like a handful of almonds. No, it's a mini meal. It's a little meal. It needs to be balanced. It needs to be plated. It needs to have protein and carb with it to keep you full, to keep you satisfied. So every meal needs to be something you enjoy. You have to enjoy your food. You have to. If you're not enjoying your food is not satisfying. If your food is not satisfying, you're going to find satisfaction elsewhere, which is why you binge. It's why you graze. It's why you mindlessly eat. It's a domino effect. If you are not eating earlier on in the day or enough yesterday, like this might also happen. Maybe you were super active yesterday. You didn't eat enough. And now you're just like so hungry all day long. Like, why am I so hungry? What is going on? It's a domino effect. So a lot of my clients, they have a structured little meal.
Oh, hold on. Something happened. And we're paused.
Okay. Sorry. Did I just go off?
Yeah.
Shoot. What just happened?
Kelly, your face is hilarious.
Am I back?
There you are.
Yay. Okay.
I'm so sorry. Someone started my car and my Bluetooth like put
Oh,
my
that's funny.
thing on my car.
Yeah, I was like, where'd she go?
Oh.
Where did I leave off? Where was I?
So the domino effect.
Yes.
Of if you
Okay.
don't eat enough the night, or if like you're too active and you don't eat enough the day before, then the next day.
You can be hungry all day. You don't know why.
Yeah. So a lot of my clients, like I will have them eat a small meal at night. Like
Okay.
I'll make sure that they are eating a small meal at night, or, like I said, we pay a lot of attention to meal timing throughout the day, just making sure that they're eating like every 2 to 3 hours. Because this is another like mind fuck is what if a lot of people associate nighttime eating with stress eating? I stress eat. I have a stressful day. I go home and I stress eat.
Mm-hmm.
What if you're not stress eating? What if you're calling it that? You're getting in your head, you're again, a lot of this is like mindset around it, running at that. Whoa.
Hold on, Michaela. You're going in and out.
You sound like a robot.
She's smiling.
I
What
know.
happened?
There
No,
we go.
what happened?
It totally like it was like going in and out and like being all robot voiced.
Okay. Now, am I good now?
I think so.
I
Check
think-
your internet. Are you connected to the internet? Or are you on your cellular?
No, it says I'm on Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. I think we're good.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's good.
Okay. Shoot. Okay. Where did I leave off?
Okay. Stress eating.
We're gonna just redo the domino effect because I think we're missing parts of domino effect, right?
No.
Oh, man.
No. So we were doing like you were talking about the stress eating at night and you were saying, what if you're not stress eating?
You're just
What if you're hungry?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to like read you all that. Okay. So, a lot of my clients, they come to me and they're like, Michaela, I stress eat at night. Like I'll have a stressful day and I just go home and I graze and I binge. Like that's when it happens. Like, how do I stop stress eating? And what we typically find out is that it's not stress. It's not emotional eating. It's hunger. You're eating at night because you're hungry, because you're not eating enough through the day, or simply because we need another little meal planned there. A lot of the times, but again, diet culture would have you think that it must be stress.
Mm-hmm.
You must be emotionally eating. Go drink some water. Go chew some gum. So again, we're not even listening to our hunger and fullness cues.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of why we got this surgery, is to relearn what hunger and fullness is again.
Yeah.
But then we're still listening to diet culture and continuing to ignore our hunger and fullness cues. Now, I want to say that with a caveat though. Like, we have to understand when we are on a weight loss journey, when you are actively trying to lose weight, there is going to be a small amount of hunger you're going to feel.
Yeah.
Hunger is normal. That's a normal thing to feel when you're trying to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
You're eating less calories. You are starving your body, basically.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it burns the reserves. Like, so you have to understand that, but you shouldn't be like starving. You
Right.
shouldn't be like, I'm just ravenous. I can't control my stress eating. Again, odds are you're probably not even emotionally eating or stress eating. You're just hungry. We need to look at how you're structuring your meals throughout the day, what your meals are comprised of. Are they satisfying enough? Are they keeping you full long enough? And things like that. And Mel, in your case, 100% do not have guilt or shame over having that candy bar. Grace and compassion is another huge thing we have to work on when healing our relationship with food. Because the more we guilt or shame ourselves, the more that can turn into a spiral, a binge, something like that. So having grace and compassion, but also make sure that you are staying fueled throughout the day right now.
Yeah.
You do have a lot going on, and it can be, if you're not eating throughout the day, if you're not making sure that you are fueling your body throughout the day, then that will make the night times even harder for you with cravings, because emotional eating is still a thing.
Yes.
We can still eat out of emotional states and try to numb what we're feeling with food. A lot of us come from that. But again, the more satisfied and full we're staying throughout the day, the less likely that is to happen.
Well, and I noticed too, like, I feel more comforted knowing that it's in the room, let alone to actually eat it. Like one night I didn't even eat it, and the other night I only had half of it. So it was like I needed to know that it was there. So that way, if I like felt anxious or something, that I could have it, but then I didn't even need it. It was like such a weird feeling, because I was like, I don't really want it, but I want to know that it's in the room.
Yeah.
And that was like an interesting feeling, because like I haven't felt like that in a long time. So I'm just like, But I understand, like I am going through like a fuck ton right now. It's like stuff I never thought I'd have to go through. So I'm just like, this is crazy feelings, and I'm trying to like understand it and then give myself grace and then not be so hard on myself. But then it's just like a whirlwind when you're going through like trauma stuff. You're just like, I just don't know how to act. I just know that I need to get my protein. Everyone's like, take care of yourself, take care of yourself, take care of yourself. And I'm like, I understand it, but like, it's almost like I don't know how to anymore. It's like all of a sudden, like all the information I've ever learned in especially these last 2 years, I've just gone out the window. Like I don't know shit. And it's like, no, you know all the things. You're just like, there's just too much happening. So you're like compartmentalizing. So you're just trying to cope with what's in front of you.
Yeah. And that's something else we have to understand on this journey. Seasons. Yeah. There are going to be seasons where you can handle all the things. You're on top of your meal prep. You're on top of your gym. You're on top of your water. You're on top of your vitamins. You got it all, girl. Start gold stars all the way down the habit worksheet, you know? But then there's going to be other seasons where literally if all you're doing in this moment is maybe all you can do right now is make sure you're getting your water in or something, you know, that's a huge win for you. Yeah. So recognizing that there is going to be, I use the waves analogy a lot with people. We're just here riding the waves, and sometimes we're up and we're on top of it and everything's great. And then sometimes we're down, and we just have to learn how to ride that downtime until the next up. And so I would just encourage you to find, I call them grounding routines. I have routines in my life where these are the things that even when everything else feels like it's going to shit, like they make me feel grounded in myself, in my journey, and so something like my skincare routine, that is something that I do no matter what is going on in my life. I wash my face. I do my full routine. It makes me feel better. Yeah. Makes me feel like I've given back to myself a little bit, even if it's just a little 5-minute washing routine. Taking my vitamins, that has become such a automated habit for me that I don't even really think about it anymore. And so again, even when everything else in my life is like going crazy and I feel like I can't stay on top of my workout routine, I can't stay on top of my nutrition, like I at least know I'm getting my vitamins in. And so it's just those like little things that are like little wins that make me feel so grounded in my journey, grounded in myself, like, and that I'm giving something back to myself in those moments of high stress or grief or whatever that is.
Well, that one really helps because basically I'm staying in the hospital. We have like there's a rotation happening right now where like I'm there for 2 nights and I come home for a night and back and forth. And the one thing that's been constant though, I wash my face every morning, brush my teeth, do the whole spray, and I do the lotion. And I notice that like if I can at least do that, and get my hot water going, I feel like a little bit of normalcy. Like
Yes.
it kind of helps me feel like, okay, even though there is fucking craziness happening around me, I can at least I got this done, and it makes me feel a little grounded where I'm like, okay, we can handle today. We got my face washed and my mouth smells okay. We're good to go.
Yes.
Like, these teeth are clean. Who do I have to talk to? We're golden. Cause like it is an interesting dynamic. Cause like with being 7 years out, like I've gone through a lot of ups and downs, and I've gone through the seasons, and I know I'm very well acquainted with them. We talk all the time, these fucking seasons, but like it's frustrating when it's like when Kelly went through the divorce, that was thrown out of left field. With Eric and his surgeries and having these complications, definitely thrown out of left field. So you're just like, wait, how do I get at least a little bit of normalcy in?
Yeah.
And if anybody's listening to this, just take what Michaela said very seriously of like just finding that little routine, because it has helped me through any of the problems I've ever had, is like having the one thing that you do every day. So I would say like whether it's face wash, whether it's putting on makeup. Today was the first day I put on makeup in a week, and it felt awesome. I felt like it made me feel a little bit of normalcy was happening. You know, coming down here and talking to you feels great. So just like find the thing that helps you.
Well, I'm starting to realize now that we're talking about the grounding, and you're saying like, you mentioned the divorce, because that's where all of this came from. Like yes, it came from the disordered eating, and it came from, you know, the fact that I restricted for like a year and a half. I was so scared to eat that when something traumatic happened, what was the first thing I did? I ran to food. And because it had always been comforting, but then I trashed myself in the midst of it, because I was like, why am I going towards eating? I thought I was healed. I thought I had done all this work. Like, why am I wanting these foods? And it just continued and continued and continued, because the more I beat up myself, the more I wanted to eat it. And it didn't care what it was. It didn't matter if it was cheese or ice cream or cookies or popcorn. Like, it didn't matter if it was there. I wanted to eat it, because I was consistently beating myself up for coping with something that I had coped with my entire life.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just get over that in a second.
No, you don't.
And I'm starting to realize, as you're talking about grounding, I never had grounding.
No.
I never had because my whole life flipped upside down. And then every couple of days, it flipped around again. And it flipped around again. And I never found a consistent grounding thing for me to do.
But I also think you never had one prior to your trauma either.
I did, but it all revolved around Satan.
So your routine revolved on someone else and not yourself.
Exactly.
So
because it all mattered, like what I did with him, for him. Like, that was my life.
Yeah. And now it's about you.
But then as I continue to think about it, so then the divorce happened. And what happened? I moved into my new place while I was half living or half staying at my new boyfriend's house. So I had neither routine set up for either house.
Nope.
Then I lost my dogs. So then I definitely didn't. I had more trauma that added onto it. And I still had no grounding exercise. And now I'm mainly living at my boyfriend's house, but I kind of have this very expensive storage unit. And I try to make it home so I can spend time with my mom and try to do this. And I still have no grounding exercises through any of this. Do I have any grounding routine at all?
Yeah.
We're going to need to find you one, because for sure. Because even when we were in San Diego, like when we were watching a show, I was like, hey, hand me my wipes. And what did I do? I cleaned my face. I went into the bathroom. I washed my face. Even though it was 11:30 at night and we had to be up at 4 a.m. to get ready to go to the airport, I was like, this is the one thing that I do.
This is your routine that you do.
The one thing. Yep.
Another like bariatric grounding routine, like outside of vitamins, is my protein coffee. Like, that's another thing that I've just like over time has become so like normal and natural for me to do that, again, even when like everything is going to shit, or if something traumatic does come up, like I still just kind of out of automation. So that's something else to keep in mind, Kelly, with grounding routines, is like, it is still a habit you have to build over time. But it's picking out some of these like more simple ones, like these like, and the ones that really make you feel your best is the other thing to focus on with the grounding. I feel like we could do like a whole podcast on like grounding routines.
Right?
Well, we might have to.
I think we're going to have to like slice and dice this up, because the grounding thing, didn't even realize that was a thing that you needed in your life.
Yeah. I feel like I just made up the term recently, honestly. Like I'm wanting to like, can you like trademark a term? Because they talk about like grounding techniques. They talk about, or like grounding objects, so that like when you are in, I'm learning a lot about this in my like somatic healing certification, but like when you're in a triggering situation, you have something that kind of brings you back to yourself. It brings you back home. It makes you feel more connected. It makes you feel grounded.
Right.
Like, and I realized kind of in this is, you know, I've struggled a lot this year. And I've had some traumatic things happen in the last 12 months. And it's just really like taken a lot for me to overcome it. But even within all that, even within this struggle and losing some of my other routines, like my gym and stuff like that, I have realized like, okay, but I still have these other routines that I've maintained through all of this like trauma and struggle, and they make me feel good. And even on my hardest days, on the worst days, these routines make me feel like I'm still making progress, and they make me feel like I'm still here, like I'm still okay. And so that's what a grounding routine is. And I want to bring it back to the disordered eating too. Like with that, one of my other grounding routines is meal planning. That has become such a weekly routine for me. That has become so like automated that I almost like, once Thursday rolls around, I'm just like, okay, I got to start thinking about the meal plan for the next week. Like kind of no matter what is going on, it's like, okay, what are we, because we still have to eat, we still have to go to the grocery store. So it's like, what are we going to do? What's the plan? Now it might mean that the meal plan that week is going to be really simple. It's going to be, and I've leaned on a lot more like simple meals this year than on more like of my elaborate cooking that I used to do. But like meal plan, that's been another, you know, again, not only does it help with my relationship with food and it helps me have intention around what I'm eating, but it also in times of stress, like helps me have more direction, make sure that I know what I'm going to eat when, and then also I was going to mention another tool that I use, which is food journaling. I think that this could be another really great tool to use, especially like Mel, you know, with what you're going through right now and, you know, struggling with some of those emotions. And because you said, you know, you're like, why do I feel like I need this candy bar around now? And it's like food journaling, kind of working through that in the moment can be really beneficial to kind of help you understand like what is going on up here and in here that's tied to around our food choices. Food journaling also is a really great tool, not only to help around our mindset around food, but it helps us to be more aware and it brings in more mindfulness in the moment. So like that pause, that's something that a lot of us don't have yet. It's a habit that we have to work on. Having that pause of thinking instead of just grabbing, we think through like, why do I want to have this? Am I hungry? What could be going on? Like, am I actually craving this, or am I craving something else? Like a lot of people don't have that pause already built in. Food journaling helps you work on that pause. It like forces you to have that pause. And then with food journaling, I also use it as a tool to gain insight on like, okay, how often are my clients eating? What times of the day are my clients eating? The food choices they're making, are they making food choices that they're actually enjoying and are satisfying? Like, are they actually sticking to the meal plan that they wrote up for themselves? Or are they going off plan all the time? And to me, that says they must not actually enjoy their food. A lot of times with my clients, they will send me their meal plans and it looks really healthy.
Right.
Healthy. Looks great. But is this food that you actually want to eat? Because if it's not food you actually want to eat, if you're just going out there and looking for, this healthy sheet pan meal or whatever, but you don't actually want to eat that dry chicken and roasted veggies every day, then you're going to go off plan and you're not going to stick to what you said you're going to eat. And so it's just a really great tool to help bring some of that awareness into that. But also, like I said, process some of the emotions we have around food.
So is it kind of like the food journal aspect? So you're writing down everything you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
And then is it so where you would say I'm reaching for some chips in the pantry, and then before I eat them or reach for them, I'm like, wait a minute, go right in the, what am I feeling when I'm reaching for that? Is that kind of?
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
Ideally, you are writing as you are going to eat something. So before you actually eat, as you're about to, you're writing, and then potentially you're even writing after you eat it. So you're also reflecting on how that food made you feel. Was it satisfying? Did you actually enjoy it? Did you feel guilty after eating it? Why? Food journaling, I have tried to get several clients to do food journaling, and I only have about maybe 10% that have actually followed through and done it, because it's heavy.
It is.
It's heavy and it's hard. But even if you can at least get in the habit of logging your food, and I don't mean tracking in MyFitnessPal, I mean simply writing it down, writing down what you're eating, not even the full reflection with it, but just writing it down, that helps incorporate more mindfulness around your food choices.
So you're not weighing it. You're not doing any of that. You're just simply saying, this is what I'm eating.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I can get behind that.
Yeah. The idea around food journaling, it's not about tracking. It's not about calories. It's not about macros. It's about really diving into our mindset around food. And, with that, so you mentioned chips, and I love that. I love chips. I eat chips all the time. Let's say you are craving chips, but what happens is, again, a lot of us think, well, I'm not allowed to have chips. If I have chips in the house, I'll eat the whole bag. Well, there's two reasons why that happens. Again, because you're still in a restrictive mindset around those chips. And B, it's because chips themselves are not very filling. They're not very satisfying. Stop eating foods like that by themselves. Pair it with something. Have the chips, but have it with your sandwich at lunch, which that brings up another great topic. Sandwiches. What a healthy, amazing food choice you could have for lunch. But how many of us in here would have thought that sandwiches are something to feel guilty for?
Right. Yeah. I remember feeling like, oh my God, sandwiches are so bad for you. But then when you actually put it and write it down and everything, it's fine. It's not that bad. It's really not.
I mean, your meat, cheese, sometimes vegetables, and bread.
Yeah. And if you're eating a really healthy, high fiber bread, and you've got it loaded with meat, you can do fancy sauces, you can do fun vegetables, you can change it up every week. Literally sandwiches and wraps, those are some of the best. They get a bad rap.
They do.
Those are some of the best balanced food choices, but people have so much food fear around it because there's carbs involved.
Right.
And then you go telling people, oh, you could also add some chips with that. And they're like, what? No, you can't. Yeah, you can. And you'll find yourself, if you allow yourself to do that, you'll be satisfying that craving for the crunchy, salty things that you always want. And B, you're not going to be binging on that bag of chips later in the night. I almost guarantee it. I'm not going to 100% guarantee it, but I almost guarantee it.
Well, and going off your own tips, they can have the chips, just plan it. Plan it.
Exactly.
Plan it
Plan
have it portion out. pair it with something. Like it's not
always whatever it is you're craving, popcorn, pretzels, chips, maybe it is like the candy bar. Okay. Let's talk about that too. Like with treats, make sure it's something that you're actually craving. Cause if it's not something you're actually craving, then you're not doing yourself any favors. You're just going to keep grabbing for other things. Okay. Make sure it's something you're actually craving and eat it with something. Like if it's a candy bar, again, that basically just dissolves in your mouth. So eat your dinner and then kind of shortly after that, eat your candy bar or eat your, have a few bites of that sweet treat. You're going to feel satisfied. You're going to feel fuller from it because you're eating it, either with your meal or very close to your last meal. Or pair it with something later. If you're going to have it later on, again, like try to not eat it on its own, especially if it's something that's not very filling. Like have it with something else. Okay. So that you're not just like, okay, I'll have another candy bar. I'll have another candy bar. Like, especially if maybe you're actually hungry around that time. Yeah. Don't go eating just a candy bar when you're actually really hungry or you are asking to binge on multiple candy bars. So, and same with the chips and the popcorn and things like that. Like I'm totally fine with my clients having popcorn, but I want that paired. I want that as like part of like a little meal, basically. It needs to be with something.
Okay. Well, and you could probably tell me if you relate to this or not. I remember around year 2 and 3, that's when I had to mentally put in the work to learn how to pause. So I want people to understand it takes a while to get to where you learn the pause. It's not right away. And it's definitely later in the years of this journey. Like it's around 2 and 3 was for me. What was your time frame?
It took like healing my relationship with food and learning to be more mindful with food. I mean, that probably was, I would actually say that's probably pretty much on point, year 2 or 3. Like year 1, like I said, I was still working through food fears with intention. I was intentionally planning and incorporating treats, meals out. I was having, even in year 1, I was having bread on I would have an open face sandwich or something like that. Or I would have, potatoes with a meal or something. Like I was intentionally working on my food fears. But I feel like developing true like food freedom and like really getting in touch more with my cravings and like you said, that pause, understanding that better. I really feel like that didn't come until around like probably year 3. Like this has taken a lot of work, a lot of practice. And within that, there were binges. Right. That's something else I want to say.
There will be binges. Yes.
There will be binges. Yeah. Okay. On the road to recovery, you are going to have moments of binging, but I also want us to be careful. I'm really big on language and the words we use. And if you simply eat more than what you maybe typically eat, I think a lot of people will label that as a binge. They'll be like, I binged. That wasn't a binge. You just ate more than normal. Right. But if you tell yourself a binge, that it was a binge, it could easily lead to a binge later on because you're telling yourself, I've already screwed up. I binged. I I may as well just continue going the rest of the day. I may as well just continue binging because I already blew it. So be really careful. Again, and this also goes back to grace and compassion, working on that mindset around these foods, okay? There is no good or bad food. All food serves a purpose. Some food is fueling to our body and it's what we need to feel our best. Some food we need because we enjoy it and because it fills our soul, because it's nostalgic, because it's like, whatever. Like, but there is no good or bad food. Working on that mindset around that. And when you start to feel that guilt or shame when you're eating certain foods, like trying to catch that, trying to work through that in the moment, which is another great reason food journaling can be awesome. Yeah. Working through that in the moment when it's there. because that is what will lead to the spiral. That is what will lead to the binge.
Yeah. And
it's not the food, it's our mindset around the food that leads to
well, yeah, 100%. And when I mean two, like where I say 2 to 3, it's basically because I count year 1 as a really long year 1. Like it's 0 to the 1 and the 1 to the 2, because it's all year 1 to me. It's like that's just a whole wash. Because it's really the problem starts, not problem, but the hard work starts like 2 going into 3 and 3 going into 4.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, because that's when like the habits are profound and that's what needs to be done versus like, oh yeah, I can feel the restriction and whatnot. Like it needs to be like in those time frames to start journaling and start looking at what you're eating. Cause that's what I would do. I would literally I like you're saying, Kel, like I wouldn't actually put calories to it or protein or whatever. It'd just be like, this is what I ate. And then I'm like, oh, that's not actually bad. Why am I so mean to myself? It's like, it's black and white. Oh, it's not that bad. Like, you know, like it's all up here.
Writing it out can help you see it. Like, I think a lot of us, this is something I struggle with a lot of my clients. A lot of my clients are afraid to start writing it out because they're afraid of judgment. They're afraid of like, and it's not me that's judging them. It's them that's judging themselves. I'm not there judging them. They're the ones judging. But if I could get them to do it, what they actually start to realize is, oh, I don't actually eat as bad, quote unquote, bad as I think I do. Like I was actually really good this week. Like why did I have it in my head that I totally like screwed up my week? And again, and this goes just to journaling in general, like your mind will lie to you. You have to get the stuff that's in your mind out of your mind in order to be able to see the truth. Like you can't just listen to what your mind says because it's lying. So we have to get it out on paper or talk it out so that we can start to see like, oh, okay, like it's not that bad.
Yeah. Cause I mean, even with all of the grounding exercises or routines, like I am almost at a year divorced and I'm just now realizing it because we're sitting here having a conversation about it.
Right.
Yeah.
I would have easily gone years without realizing that if we hadn't been talking about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Or, you know, writing it in a journal, or I just always feel stupid writing in a journal. I think that's why I haven't done it yet. I just feel like an idiot. I feel like, dear diary, today was great.
I mean, it can be that, but it also can be a lot more. I know my biggest fear with journaling was like, because I was raised with an older brother, was him finding my journal or diary and going through it. So that fear is still there of like, oh, someone's going to go through my shit and then judge me for all the things that I've written.
Yeah.
And now it's out on paper and now they can use it against me.
But isn't it shame on them for reading your personal thoughts?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's invasion of privacy.
Yeah.
but it's very scary because then it's real. When it's on paper, it's real. And then that means you can see it. Someone else can see it. So it's like you have to face yourself, and facing yourself is very hard and scary. And I've had to do it too. And it's nerve wracking.
It is.
It really is. Because I'm just like, fuck, man, why am I so hard on myself? Or, you know, like it's just rough, but you got to do it because it's really helpful later on.
So something I will say is we spend all this time, which Kelly, I love you, but I'm kind of talking to you.
Okay. I'm ready.
We spend so much time distracting ourselves with surface level stuff, thinking it's about the diet. If I just need to try a different meal plan, I just need to try a different diet, I just need a different program. Thinking it's about the workouts. I just need a different gym. I just need a different trainer. I just need a different workout plan. If I just had a different meal plan, a different workout plan, if I just get my water in, like I'll be good. I'll be successful. It's actually not about any of them. It's about up here and in here. And journaling helps you process that, especially if you don't have a therapist already or a coach that you are working with.
I see your judgment from over here. Stop it.
No judgment.
No, it's not judgment. She's been telling me to get a therapist since I got divorced.
Yes, I have.
Before I got divorced.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're not doing the internal work. You're putting it off. And that's okay. Like, maybe you haven't been ready to address that yet because it's heavy shit. It sucks. It's hard. Okay. Healing is hard and you don't want to do it. But that's the reason, like, if you are feeling stuck, if you are feeling like you just keep spinning your wheels, you keep trying different programs, you keep trying this or that, and you're just not really getting anywhere, you keep self-sabotaging, you just keep getting stuck. It's because you're not working on those inner blocks that are holding you back. And with you just kind of knowing the little bit I know about you and your divorce and what you went through, like, you probably have a lot of inner blocks, a lot of inner limiting beliefs that you're listening to right now that's holding you back and stuck in this place. And journaling is a great tool that you can start using just for yourself, even without a therapist, to start processing that and getting it out. That's all I'm going to say on that.
And I will add one extra thing, because you said that doing the work and journaling is hard. So is suffering. So it's like, pick your hard. Okay. Like, nothing's fucking easy. And I'm sick and tired of everybody wanting it to be easy. Not easy, people. Nothing you do will ever be easy. When it is easy, it's probably not good or fun. Like, to be honest, it's not, and life is just like, if you want everything to be easy, then you're just going to be like living in this little tiny thing where only you know how to do all the things. It's like, no, like, life is hard and that's fine. Like, just enjoy it and then like make the hard work for you. Like, it's okay for it's okay to feel your feelings, and it's okay for it to be hard for us, because we didn't come with a manual. Like,
no, we didn't.
Like, we don't know what we don't know either. And it's okay to not know things. And I know we're all scared of the unknown, but it's like, hey, guess what? Like, it's okay to not know things, and it's okay to ask questions, and it's okay to journal. Like, I've had to do journaling a little bit. Like, I haven't done like the awesomeness that I wish I got to, but it would be once in a while I would just jot some shit down, just because like I just needed to get it out. And I noticed that, like, you know how like you'll play like the argument that you think you're about to have, even though when you start having the argument, it doesn't really go the way you thought it was going to go. And people surprise you. That's something you got to give people the benefit of the doubt, because I would write shit down of like things I'm mad about Eric, right? Of like a situation that's going on, and I'd write it out. And then I would feel better. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk to him. Like, I wrote it out. I have it all in my head. And then I would say the things. And then he would be like exactly opposite of what I thought. And it was very nice and genuine. And I'm like, shit.
What do I do with that?
What do I do with that? And Eric's caught me several times and been like, you didn't expect me to say that, did you? And I was like, no. And he's like, you prepared a whole thing, didn't you? I go, yes, I did. Yes, I did. But it felt good to write it out. And now, like, when I do those things, like, I just get it out. And just because sometimes I don't even need to talk to him, it was just the fact I needed to get it out of my head. And then actually I'll reread it and be like, oh, you're overthinking a lot of this. Like, these are not the ways, just because I think this way and how I think that he's going to react does not mean how it's going to happen. And that's why I think me and Eric have grown a lot, like, through these years, is because I'm realizing, like, oh, I'm just in my head a lot. Like, I just overthink all these situations, and I'm making it a lot harder than it needs to be. And that's why I stress people, like, stop making it so hard for yourself. Just like how you told, like, I use this from you all the time of like, just get up and go. Don't let yourself think about it. Just grab the fucking clothes, put them on and go. Don't even let your brain on to think like, oh, but you can stay, like, you can need more sleep. Like, don't even let your body do that. Like, just grab it and go. And it totally works. Because when we overthink things, then we stop doing what we should have done. Well, you overthink
and then you make excuses for the with the overthinking. And then it's a roller coaster of crap.
Yeah, exactly. So just don't let yourself overthink the things, and writing it out will really help you. Yeah.
I will tell you, Michaela, you are absolutely 100% correct in the fact that I don't want to think about all of the things that have happened, because even in my brain, I will flash back to like a moment that I had with Satan, or a moment that I had with the dogs, or I'll see a fucking dog on the road and then my head starts spinning about my dogs that I can't see. And instead of like feeling sad or feeling that heartache, I'm like, okay, what else can we think about? Like, we're not going to think about that. That's off to the side. We're not going to deal with that because I think a lot of it, I'm not emotionally ready to unpack.
That emotion doesn't go anywhere though. Now it's just stored in your body. Mm-hmm. So you just keep kind of weighing yourself down more and more and more as that continues to happen and you're not getting it out. So not only are you not verbally getting it out, but you're also not even really letting yourself feel. Mm-hmm. And that's another reason why we typically emotionally eat is because we are pressing these emotions. We don't want to deal with them. We don't want to handle them. Sometimes we don't even understand them. And instead of working through them to try to understand them and to allow ourselves time to feel it, we just go cover it up with food. I'll just go eat and not feel.
Well, and I have a question for you, Michaela, that I think will help a lot of us because I'm glad that we're on the subject because this happened I think a few weeks ago, you got really frustrated with working out, right? Wasn't it a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
And Kelly wanted to cry at the gym, but she's didn't want to be embarrassed about crying. And I told her, we got to stop being embarrassed about crying. Crying's a normal emotion. Mm-hmm. She's like, well, I didn't want to do it in public. And I was like, who cares if you're in public? Like, let the emotions out. And I think we need to talk more about how crying is a normal response. Like it is okay to cry. Yeah. Because you have to feel those intense feelings and just let it out.
And again, crying is releasing. So whatever you were going through that day, whatever you were feeling, that needed to come out. The fact that you felt that urge to cry, something needed released in that moment. And you instead pushed it down because you're too afraid of what people will think. If someone has an issue with you crying, it's because they also feel uncomfortable with their own emotions and crying. Yeah. So I myself am on a journey now of trying to allow myself to feel my feelings whenever I'm feeling them. Sometimes it's crying. Sometimes it's allowing myself to literally throw a temper tantrum and throw things and scream. Yes. Sometimes it is me violently shaking my body, which probably looks really creepy when I do it, but I do it with closed doors.
I've screamed into a pillow. I let myself come down into the studio and scream into a pillow.
Oh, you didn't tell me that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Done it a couple times now because I'm like, oh, we're soundproofed and pretty good. So
we definitely are soundproofed. That's a good point. I was like, why are you coming into the studio? Soundproofing. Got it.
Soundproof. Because I did it once and Dylan and Eric heard me and they were scared shitless. They're like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm fine. I just needed to get it out. And they're like, you can't do that because I thought literally someone was stabbing you.
So you're like, okay, soundproof room, we're good.
Yeah, 100%.
Sometimes, like I said, sometimes we don't know what we're feeling. I think that's really common. Is we know we're frustrated or we're sad or we know we need to get something out, but we don't know what it is. And again, journaling can be a great tool to help you figure out what that is. You just kind of start writing about whatever happened. And then as you write, you start to notice what emotion is starting to come up as you're writing it. And if it's anger, then you let yourself be freaking mad. You get that out of your body. If it's sadness, you let yourself cry. Sometimes if I know I need to cry and I can't get myself to cry, I will go put on Coco or Up or something like that to literally force myself to cry. You know, we have to get those emotions out of our body because if they stay trapped in our body, then that can show up. It'll manifest in different ways or it'll come out later. That's when we blow up on other people that don't even deserve to be blown up on. Yep. Or like I said, it's when we emotionally eat or something like that. Or it can end up making you literally physically sick. It can show up as sickness, as pain, as tightness, as anxiety. So we have to get those emotions out. And so I know that it's totally going to suck. It's not going to be a fun journey, but the longer you go without getting that out, the harder it's going to be.
Well, I think in my marriage, it was preordained for as long as I was together with him that we did not fight in public. We did not show like it was very like not in public. So as you're talking, I'm like flashing back to things because I'm like, why am I so afraid? Because I grew up in a family where we were very much allowed to show emotion.
And you're friends with me. I cry not all the time, but I cry
all the time.
When I feel it coming out.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And so I grew up in a family where it was totally okay to have a therapist, to cry it out, to be angry. Like my mom was very hippie-esque in feelings, and which was great. But now I'm realizing that when I got together with Satan, we would pretend as long as possible that we would have a big blow up fight. We would both just like fight. It would be really, really bad. And then nothing ever got solved.
Right.
It got brushed under the rug. We made up. It was never actually a genuine making up. It was like, we're done fighting now.
Yeah.
Brush it under the rug, move on to the next. And then the next blow up would happen. And then the same thing, it would get blown out of proportion. So I'm used to taking these feelings and being like, I'm in public or I'm not allowed to feel these right now. So I'm going to stuff it down because it's easier to deal with if it's not at the top.
Right.
If that makes sense.
No, it does.
Ask something that might be uncomfortable and it's totally not related to like the podcast theme.
That's okay.
So how does that now work in your new relationship?
I tell him exactly if he's pissed me off. I mean, there's a couple times where I've been like, I hate you right now. Like you are pissing me off so bad. And it's, or like Zach made a comment one time because I was cooking them dinner and I might have made it a little salty. And I mean, it was a lot salty. And I was so nervous making him dinner. I didn't even like I was nervous making him dinner because I didn't want him to hate it.
Yeah.
And so we all were like, yeah, it's salty. I'm like, sorry, blah, blah, blah. We moved on. And then the next day, I think he said something about he was making fun of the food being salty. And I immediately just got angry because that's what Satan used to do. He would hold on to things and then use it against me later to make me look bad.
Yep.
And I got intensely angry. And then we were I was standing in the pantry and he could tell I was angry. And so he walked into the pantry and slid the door shut. And I was like, I don't want to be around you right now because you're pissing me off. And he was like, but you need to explain to me why. Like, why are you so angry? And so I explained to him what happened. Like, I was made fun of for A, B, and C if I didn't cook something right, or if I used a crock pot. I mean, all manner of things. And so I'm like, I took my time out to cook you guys dinner. And yeah, it was salty, but I made dinner and I don't deserve to be disrespected or made fun of for that. If I make fun of the fact that it's salty, it's different than if you say it.
It's very different.
And so he's never made fun of my cooking ever again. He's done very well. But I mean, Zach doesn't really do things that pisses me off.
Well, yeah, but
he's very respectful.
You also told me from here on out, though, that you're going to be telling whatever you feel like when it comes to like your partner.
Oh yeah. And I do
how your setup was before. You're like, no, I can't do that again. So that, and I noticed a huge difference of just like your happiness with Zach versus with your ex, because like it is night and day.
Yeah.
Because you are able to vocalize, hey, you upset me.
Internalize, like if I'm saying like, hey, this kind of irritated me or whatever, he doesn't internalize that and then use that to attack me later.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, well, let's not do that again.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And we talk about it and it's not this big giant 3-hour fight where we're screaming and crying and I'm, it's not this like drama. It's just very simple. And I even told him the other day, I was like, it kind of pisses me off that you'll make me angry. And I'm like, nope, he's made me angry. And then he'll make me laugh. And I'm like,
oh yeah, they do that
like,
all the time.
You're so funny. I can't do it.
Yep.
I can't stay mad at you. But it's not even like I'm realizing that I'm like grasping at something to make it bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's not actually like a pissing me off thing. It's just me trying to like pick something bad out because I'm used to that.
Right.
And I'm like trying to pinpoint it. Okay, well, that made me mad. Okay, that made me mad. Well, the next time we have a fight, I have these things that I can say. There's a lot of mental trauma that I'm starting to realize happened. Oh, damn.
That's okay, though. Guess what? You're not alone, dude. You're not alone.
Oh, I know. And
We've
it's so
all
funny.
been in it.
I literally just told her the other day where I was like, you may want to talk to a therapist, like just because of everything Mel's been through.
Oh, I'm down. I already told him yesterday I needed one.
And now I'm like, oh, Kelly, you just need to go do it yourself. It's like I'm talking to myself.
Yeah. And that's the deal is that like I totally am. I asked yesterday because like I saw it. I knew it. I was like, yeah, you're going to need one there, buddy. Even if it's for a couple weeks, it doesn't have to be like this long. I think that's also the thing that people are scared about therapy is like, oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to be in it forever. Like, some of us probably should, but you don't have to. You can just go intermittently to help you process.
And also keep in mind, Kelly, it might take a few therapists to find the one that you like. Okay? So don't just go to one and be like, well, that isn't going to work out. I'm not going to do that again. Like you have to be open to trying out a few to find one that you really mesh with, that you drive with. But yeah, I'm with Mel and I think it's probably time.
Yeah. Well, because it's like, like you said in the beginning, like I am legit blaming these food items for everything in my life. Like that I'm not like, I'm happy in my life, but I'm not happy where I'm at in my life. Like personally, mentally, physically, I'm not happy there. And so I'm blaming it on the foods and I'm making it their fault on why I gained weight and why I'm at where I'm at. And it has nothing to do with the food. It has all to do with the 15-year relationship that I had and the other things that transpired after he left, because a lot of those things were very hurtful. But I was like, nope, I'm angry. I'm not going to unpack those now. Like, we're just going to keep moving on. And then I found a really happy spot with Zach. Like, I'm very, very happy. But I still feel like there's so much that I'm stuffing down because I don't want to unpack that A, on him, or B, in this life that I've created. Because I was just like, oh, I'll move on. That's what I do.
Yeah, but you're
probably unpacking it though without even realizing it. Like therapy is going to help you so you're not doing that. Therapy is going to help you so that you are actually healing instead of bottling and then maybe unintentionally or not even realizing, like taking things out on other people or again, like using other coping mechanisms that you shouldn't be using. And, I just want to say like the problem with blaming the food instead of actually working on the real problem, the real issue is that that's not actually going to like solve anything. You're just going to continue to go in circles. And if it's not with this food, then it will be with another food. And if it's not with another food, then it'll be with another food. Like you're just going to continue to find foods to blame.
You're just stuck in the cycle. Yeah.
Jesus, this was a doozy of an episode.
I love it. It's so good. Well,
I mean, you almost made me cry. Like I was on the verge. I was on the verge. So, and it takes a lot to make me cry.
Yeah.
So,
well, disordered eating is
you did a good job.
It runs a gambit. Like it's all over the place. And I think that's why we want to talk about it with Michaela so much was like, you pinpointed it in your stories and we're like, been there. We need to talk. Like we need to talk this out because it's not something that you can just like flip over in a night. Like it's gonna, it is real work.
I think it's gonna be a long road.
And you do have time on your side. Just take the time. Just do it.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's a good point. Like, so many of us think that we have to like rush this process or that we have to get to a certain point by a certain time. And it's like, okay, if you can adopt the mindset that we're in this for life, that this is a lifelong journey, you've got all the time in the world. You don't have to rush it. Like, it's a learning process. It's a learning journey. Healing, whether you're healing from trauma, you're healing your relationship with your body, you're healing your relationship with food, whatever it is, this is going to be a lifelong commitment to healing. There is no end destination. There is no end goal with that. You're constantly working at it. And even me, 6 years out, Mel, 7 years out, like, we are still working on it. I still have days where I struggle with my mindset around food. I still have days where I'll catch myself in some of that mindset that, so I still have room to grow. I still have room to work on things, and it's going to continue to be that way forever. Also, because we literally have decades of diet culture to continue to unpack and unlearn.
Right.
Yep.
That I'm still, I'll still have moments where I'll have some thought about something and I'll be like, oh shoot, that's diet culture showing up right there. Like,
Well, I was just going to say, like, you know how, like, when you break up with someone, they say, like, okay, if you were with them for a year, it might take 2 years or whatever to get over them.
It's half the time.
Or is it half the time?
Yeah. So if you're with somebody for a year, it takes you 6 months to get over them.
So we've been like, it's like we had a breakup with food and diet culture through this process. Like, we're breaking up with it, and now it's going to take half amount of time to get over it. Like, we have to get our mindset changed, because it is hard. Because I hear myself do it all the time, like the good and the bad. Shouldn't be talking like that. The at nighttime thing, that's not a thing. Like, just like learning that, like, here I'm in my 7th year, guys, and we talk to surgeons, dietitians, coaches all the time. We're still fucking learning. Like, there's so much to learn. And that's why I always preface, like, all the time, like, it's okay to not know things. Keep learning. Just keep, because the only thing, this is a lifelong journey. It's not just that year. I think people get so focused on that first year that they forget this is a whole life thing that you're doing.
I did. I got so hyper focused on that first year, and that I was like, okay, I hit my goal weight. Okay, I hit my lowest weight ever. Okay, I'm good. I'm healed, right?
Honeymoon.
I'm good.
Yeah, honeymoon.
Yeah. I was like, nope, I'm good. I've got this. And then your life happens around you, and things happen that are not exactly enjoyable.
Right.
And you are not healed, because I did not do, I mean, I feel like I did a good chunk of work in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I didn't continue during
the trauma. Yeah, you didn't.
I also did a good chunk of work in the beginning. I had, like, basically for my whole first year, I had a therapist, I had a coach, I was doing really great. I had all the help, all the things. Lost all the weight, thought everything was good. I'm happy. I was distracted.
Yeah.
I was distracted by the excitement. I was distracted by the new clothes, by the new attention I was getting. Like, once all that started to normalize, as I got further into maintenance, I started to realize, oh shoot, I still need help.
Yeah.
I need help. And I was going to kind of end on that.
Yeah.
The surgery, all it does is make your stomach smaller. Okay. It does not teach you how to eat better. It doesn't help you have a better relationship with food. It doesn't fix your mindset. It doesn't help you build new habits. If you are struggling on this journey, you do not have to go it alone. Get help.
Yeah.
I'm a coach. There's plenty of other coaches in the community. There are therapists, there are dietitians. Get the help you need to be successful on this journey, and stop trying to do it all on your own and thinking that you know everything, because you don't. And you're not going to realize that until you start working with someone and you're like, oh, shoot. Okay. Yeah, I really needed help. Like, get yourself the help you need. You don't have to go this alone. This takes time, patience, and support to get through it.
Yeah, I love it. That's a great way to end this.
That was
man.
a perfect way. Thank you,
Michaela.
so much.
Thank you guys.
I think
Thank
this
you.
was
great.
exactly what we both needed at this point in
That's
time.
why I did not want to cancel her.
Yep.
Because I knew I needed it.
We knew that
So
we were going to have like these little nuggets of, well, it was like an explosion of knowledge
Yes.
this time, but you always like make
do.
sure that we understand and know what we need to do to be successful in our journey. And it's never too late.
It's never,
It's never too late. So I am going to try food journaling.
Yeah.
And I'm going to look up a therapist tomorrow.
Oh, shit.
Yay.
Good job,
I
Kelly.
will, because it's time. It really is time. And I needed the tough love from somebody other than Mel because I can ignore her. I can't ignore it when somebody else says it.
True story.
I will send you. So in my last workshop I did, the Mindset Reset,
Mhm.
which we're just wrapping up right now, I put together like a food journaling template. I'm going to send that to you so that you just
Aw.
kind of have like an idea of like what that should look like, how it should flow. And
Thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate
you're
that because that'll help a lot.
That will.
Just to start, that's going to be my grounding routine. That's
Yes.
going to be
There
what
you
grounds
go.
me
There you
every
go.
day is I'm going
There
to
you go.
make sure that I do write down everything I eat as I eat it.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
Well, thank you,
Nice.
Michaela.
thank you so much.
are always
Thank you,
amazing.
guys.
Yes, and we have more that we need to talk about apparently. So
Yes.
we will definitely have more episodes coming up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully
Yay,
not
That's awesome. Yeah.
like a year and a
episode on
half.
grounding routines or
That's
like
what I want to do. Grounding routines, man.
and like self-soothing techniques.
Yes.
Because that's really what I'm starting to get more into now. So
I love
good.
it. I love it. Let's do
I
it.
need self-soothing techniques.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah.
bring them over.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening.
Yes.
And don't forget to go over to patreon.com/OSLP and also YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And most of all, we just love you guys. And we will see you
Next time. Bye.
Bye.